Hey everyone, it feels like it's been ages, but my name is Four Extraordinaire, and I was very sick, so I could not record any Humankind content or any other Forex gaming content for that matter. So I am back, at least for the time being. I'm feeling a lot better, and I hope to go over the Humankind patch notes, talk about whatever beta update this is. There's like a ton of different scrambled numbers, so I can't be bothered to memorize all of those numbers. Anyhow, it's beta update so and so. So let's get straight into it and talk about some of the changes and what I'm excited for with this patch. So this particular patch has a lot of changes. I think one of the big changes that I wanted to talk about was all of these different fixes to the AI, to the UI, to some of the military and the diplomacy features. You can see the different bugs they've patched, but there's just been a ton of dedicated to support to those areas of the game. But for the actual additions to the game, there were a few I wanted to specifically point out and talk about. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was the improvement for the AI, because they have really been working on the way that the AI kind of focuses on culture, stability, and the way they just handle things like combat. For example, the AI now has an improved feature where they make better predictions when evaluating a battle. I've had them just run straight into cliffs and attack my positions like extremely. They've executed their decisions extremely poorly, is what I'm trying to say. They've run into cliffs. They've made terrible disembarkment choices where they want to land their troops. They've also improved the way the AI armies handle themselves when going through territories. They've improved the way the AI synchronizes themselves. So just a ton of goodies right there. And hopefully that actually makes them better at combat, because I've noticed they have, as of late, been very lackluster in that department. They've also gone ahead and added a ton of little UI changes here and there. For example, now there's a lot of better feedback with war score. They've added some new hints. There's even a new full screen option. So there's a lot of just different tweaks here and there that are really going to help enhance the experience and really kind of improve the UI along with some of these other changes. Something I wanted to talk about too was the affinities and how they've been tweaked. Merchants now scale better with eras, and I assume this is all of the cultures, specifically with the affinity. It doesn't go too much into detail here. It's kind of broad. Aesthete gains scale quadratically with eras. If anyone knows what they mean specifically by quadratically, please let me know, but I think they are scaling better too, similar to merchants. And then they've also reduced expansionist costs, because it could be quite ridiculous after your first outpost has been placed down. To kind of just go ahead and build some more outposts as the cost quickly got out of control. I think it like starts at something like 20, and then it goes up to 50, and then it can go up to like 100 after 3 or 4 outposts. So the cost right there, especially when it can be very hard to produce influence early on and you have a big map, the cost can be a bit hard to deal with. So I don't know what else they mean by expansionist costs. I hope that also means cities, because cities were becoming a bit expensive to build. So hopefully they implement something with the city cap in the future, because the city cap as it is right now is very annoying to work with. And I hope they at least try to adjust that, maybe add some new text, try to add some variety to the I don't know, not the division, but just the difference between tall and wide play styles, and hopefully kind of triumph where Civ 6 failed and make wide or tall a viable play style, while also not punishing wide, kind of like with Civ 5. One thing I'm really happy to see is the reduced impact of faith on the 2 initial tenets, shamanism and polytheism. And for those of you who do not know, when you're founding your religion, this is the very first thing that comes up. And depending on whether you picked one of these 2 tenets, decided whether your religion would dominate or not. So specifically, if you get your religion first, that basically means you've won the religious game. I always conquer my nearby neighbors peacefully, quote unquote, with my religion, because I usually just get the +3 faith per attached territories or whatever, and then I just skyrocket, or I get the +1 faith per population. Either way, usually if you're the first one to get one of these tenets, you just immediately dominate the competition in my experience, and the AI is just unable to resist your religious pressure. So great to see there's been some tweaks to it. Hopefully it's not as powerful. And I just hope that this is a lot easier to work around with, because it was just kind of getting boring, dominating, and kicking the AI's ass on the religious front as well. I really like that they've also adjusted the civics and kind of played around with rare civics. There are some prerequisites to trigger some of the rarer civics. Like I know for certain civics involving minor tribes or the independent peoples, you need to actually spawn near them, and that's kind of the same for some of the more rarer stuff. So if I'm getting like a really rare civic, possibly for like an island nation or something with a really rare port, I would have to like fulfill some equally rare requirements to get that civic. So they're going to make those rare civics a lot easier to get, it seems. So that's going to be nice to kind of play around with now, and as I have access to some more civics that open up the game. Finally, it seems like they've been opening up global warming, global pollution. They've been tweaking that. I don't play with that too much, just because I've not only been sick, but also because I just don't find it to be too important or too fun. But hopefully that at least makes the global warming and everything a lot more interesting for those players that are interested in it. And I think that's going to be it for today's little recap for the little bug changes. I wanted to talk about kind of my absence just a little bit and what I'm interested in with the current patch notes. So thank you guys so much for watching. This is going to be a short little video, and if you have any suggestions for future videos, please let me know. Otherwise, this has been 4 Extraordinaire, and I hope to see you guys later. All right, peace.